This young Taoist was named Chen Chongsheng. He had been an orphan since childhood and was raised by his senior brother and his master. He still remembered that year, under a freezing sky, when Yu Ren, his senior brother, found him abandoned by the lakeside. Soon after, the two were suddenly attacked by a gigantic golden dragon. Faced with such overwhelming might, Yu Ren showed no fear at all and stood in front of Chen Chongsheng to shield him. Shortly afterward, their master, Ji Daoren, arrived. With a single sword strike, he wounded the golden dragon and forced it to flee. From then on, Chen Chongsheng grew up under the guidance of his senior brother and master. Because he had been physically weak since childhood, his master gave him the name Chongsheng. During their Taoist studies, Ji Daoren never taught Chen Chongsheng or Yu Ren cultivation techniques. Instead, he taught them only the 3000 Tao canon. Under his master's strict instruction, Chen Chongsheng quickly memorized the entire canon. One day, Chen Chongsheng received a marriage letter from a girl named Shu Yurong, and from then on, the two frequently exchanged letters. Time passed until one day Chen Chongsheng suddenly fell ill with a strange condition. His heart felt as though it were being torn apart. His meridians throughout his body turned golden, and he collapsed to the ground. His senior brother and master soon discovered what had happened. After examining him, Ji Daoren concluded that there was no cure. This illness was his fate. Upon hearing this, Chen Chongsheng did not panic. Instead, he decided to find a way to change his destiny himself. According to his master, from ancient times to the present, only 3 people had ever succeeded in defying fate. The first step was for Chen Chongsheng to go to the divine capital, become first place in the Grand Imperial Examination, and only then would the path to changing fate reveal itself. Before he left, Yu Ren gave Chen Chongsheng a short blade, forged from the whiskers of the golden dragon from years ago, and encouraged him to persevere, saying that he would wait for Chen Chongsheng to return in triumph. After bidding farewell to his master and senior brother, Chen Chongsheng descended the mountain alone. With his kind nature, Chen Chongsheng gave his steamed bun to a small bird. In return, the bird guided him along the road to the divine capital. To participate in the Grand Imperial Examination, Chen Chongsheng needed to join one of the academies in the divine capital of Great Zhou, and the Heavenly Tao Academy was the first place he set his sights on. According to the rules, anyone who could open the academy's gate would qualify to take the written examination. A fat man tried first but failed miserably and was mocked by the academy's disciples, who claimed that only those with true strength and talent were qualified to join. When they learned that Chen Chongsheng had never cultivated yet still dared to attempt the selection, one disciple mocked him as insane and wanted to see how far Chen Chongsheng would be blown away. Chen Chongsheng paid no mind. He gently placed his hand on the gate and quickly discerned its mechanism. It was the swift wind formation of Qimen Luzhou, containing gale formations and stones that absorbed true essence. Anyone lacking sufficient true essence would be blasted away by the formation. Fortunately, within the 3000 Tao canon that Chen Chongsheng had mastered was the method to Pojia this formation. Following those instructions, he easily passed the trial and opened the gate. Seeing this, the older disciples accused him of cheating or using demonic arts. As the gate opened, Cao Cheng, the ecclesiastical officer of the Heavenly Tao Academy, appeared and blocked Chen Chongsheng from entering. At this moment, Tang 36 stepped forward to help, having witnessed the entire process of Chen Chongsheng breaking the formation. Soon after, the headmaster Mao Chuyu arrived upon hearing the commotion. Cao Cheng reported that Chen Chongsheng had secretly learned forbidden formation-breaking techniques and deserved punishment. Chen Chongsheng calmly questioned the public notice, which clearly stated that opening the gate constituted passing. There was no restriction on the method used. Cao Cheng dismissed this as sophistry, claiming that the formation existed to filter out mortals and that Chen Chongsheng, who had not even cleansed his marrow, had no right to enter the academy. Chen Chongsheng argued that such practices were not transparent and would only discourage candidates. According to the academy's rules, there was no requirement for candidates to reach any specific cultivation realm, and precedents existed. Cao Cheng rejected this outright, claiming he had never heard of such a thing in decades of service. At that moment, the headmaster confirmed that Chen Chongsheng was correct and allowed him to enter. Chen Chongsheng then requested that the fat man who had failed earlier be admitted as well, and the request was granted. Next came the written examination. Candidates were required to complete 36 volumes within 36K, with higher scores awarded for completing more volumes. Anyone who failed to finish within the allotted time would be eliminated. With the knowledge contained in the 3000 Tao canon, These 36 volumes were effortless for Chen Chongsheng. After the first K, several candidates had already been eliminated. One of the academy officials was stunned by Chen Chongsheng's speed. When Cao Qing personally reviewed the papers, he was left utterly speechless. In just an hour and a half, Chen Chongsheng completed all 36 volumes, shocking everyone present. All believed that he would rank first and become a new legend. However, when the results were announced, the fat man passed, but Chen Chongsheng's name was nowhere to be found. Unwilling to accept this, Chen Chongsheng sought out Cao Qing to request a review of his papers. But Cao Qing refused under various pretexts, insisting that Chen Chongsheng could not enter the Heavenly Tao Academy. Tang 36 attempted to seek justice for Chen Chongsheng, but Chen Chongsheng stopped him, saying that he no longer wished to enter such an academy and would rather seek another Taoist institution. Tang 36 then invited Chen Chongsheng to a tavern for a drink. The true reason Chen Chongsheng had been rejected was that Cao Qing had acted under orders from the wife of the divine general's manor, Xu Yurong's mother. While drinking, Chen Chongsheng became curious about Tang 36's name and asked whether he was the 36th son in his family. Tang 36 explained that he ranked 36th on the Azure Cloud ranking, and adopted the name to motivate himself. He further explained that the Azure Cloud ranking represented the younger generation of Great Zhou, and the higher one ranked, the greater the chance of topping the Grand Imperial examination. Through conversation, Tang 36 learned that Chen Chongsheng was not from the divine capital but from Xining, an orphan raised on the mountain by his master and senior brother. Chen Chongsheng also explained that he had come to the capital to seek a way to change his fate. Deeply impressed by his courage, Tang 36 decided to swear brotherhood with him. He suspected that Chen Chongsheng's rejection by the Heavenly Tao Academy was related to his fiancée and asked which family she belonged to. When Chen Chongsheng mentioned the name Xu Yurong, Tang 36 was stunned. She was the #1 genius of the continent, awakened the true Phoenix bloodline at the age of 5, ranked first on the Azure Cloud ranking, and was the future saintess. Yet in Chen Chongsheng's memory, Xu Yurong was merely a gluttonous, playful girl who loved boasting in her letters. He never imagined she was so outstanding in reality. Tang 36 believed the Heavenly Tao Academy dared not accept Chen Chongsheng because the divine general's manner was manipulating matters behind the scenes. An engagement between Xu Yurong and a rural boy being exposed would damage their prestige and legacy. Hearing this, Chen Chongsheng immediately set out to return the marriage letter to avoid affecting Xu Yurong. On the way, he encountered Xu Shiji, Xu Yurong's father, who demanded the letter and ordered Chen Chongsheng to leave the divine capital. Chen Chongsheng agreed to return the letter but insisted on handing it to Xu Yurong personally to thank her. Xu Shiji refused, accusing him of attempting to cling to the divine general's manor. He then urged his mount forward to attack, but Chen Chongsheng struck its weak point, forcing it to flee. Though injured, Chen Chongsheng did not retreat despite the pressure of Xu Shiji's cultivation realm. Xu Shiji unleashed the autumn rain-breaking formation blade art to threaten him. But Chen Chongsheng remained resolute. 4 blade intents descended. In that critical moment, Chen Chongsheng utilized the 3000 Dao cannon, guiding lightning with golden needles to successfully neutralize the attack. Nevertheless, Xu Shiji severely wounded him. Seeing Chen Chongsheng's short blade and indomitable aura, Xu Shiji resolved to eliminate him completely and opened his star domain. Blood-red light flooding the surroundings. Even without having cultivated, Chen Chongsheng's spirit surged as he declared he would shatter Xu Shiji's star domain, causing Xu Shiji to waver. Just as the battle was about to erupt, Mo Yu appeared and intervened. Xu Shiji accused her of interfering in his personal affairs. In response, Mo Yu produced a divine edict from the Pope. Xu Shiji immediately knelt. The edict ordered Chen Chongsheng to remain in the divine capital and enter the Orthodox Academy. Xu Shiji protested, unable to believe that a country boy like Chen Chongsheng had been personally recommended by the Pope. Mo Yu coldly asked whether he wished to inspect the edict. Faced with the Pope's absolute authority, Xu Shiji fell silent. By then, Tang 36 had also arrived and found that Chen Chongsheng was still alive. And thus, Chen Chongsheng's journey of defying heaven turned to a brand new chapter. After Chen Chongsheng was rescued by Mo Yu, he felt deeply grateful. However, from her words, he learned that the place he had been assigned to was no different from hell. It was called so because the Orthodox Academy had already declined into ruin, looking no different from an abandoned temple. Seeing this, Chen Chongsheng became extremely curious. By all logic, this place should have been flourishing. How had it fallen into such desolation? Hearing his question, Tang 36 began to tell him a story. 20 years ago, the headmaster of the Orthodox Academy was xianxia. Dissatisfied with Holy Empress Tianhai, he launched a rebellion. This act enraged the Pope. In response, the Pope personally destroyed xianxia and annihilated the Orthodox Academy itself. Tang 36 found this deeply puzzling. The Pope was clearly the one who had destroyed this place with his own hands. So why would he now send Chen Chongsheng here? The Pope was well aware that the Tianhai clan had colluded with the other 5 academies to carry out a large-scale purge against the Orthodox Academy. Sending Chen Chongsheng here was no different from pushing him straight into a pit of fire. Even so, Chen Chongsheng still decided to stay, partly because the place resembled the old temple where he had once lived, and partly because if he wished to take first place in the Grand Imperial Examination and find a way to change his fate, then participating as a disciple of the Orthodox Academy was his only path. Hearing this, Tang 36 remarked that those who participated in the Grand Imperial Examination were all outstanding talents from across the land. Chen Chongsheng had never even cultivated before. How could he possibly keep up? Could it be that he possessed an innate sacred constitution, allowing him to break through rapidly? Chen Chongsheng replied that he had not yet cultivated. Not that he did not know how to cultivate. As for any so-called sacred constitution, he had none at all. His meridians were, in fact, extremely disordered. The Grand Imperial Examination was only 3 months away. Yet Chen Chongsheng was convinced that in 3 months' time, he would certainly take first place. Afterward, the two went to the library pavilion, only to find that it had been sealed with a radiant mechanism lock from the Shuji Bureau. Seeing this, Chen Chongsheng went to the Shuji Bureau to borrow the key. There, he encountered Qin the priest. Upon merely hearing the name, Orthodox Academy, Qin the priest immediately ordered Chen Chongsheng to be beaten with 20 strokes for daring to mock him. However, once he learned that Chen Chongsheng had been personally recommended by the Pope, Qin the priest's attitude changed instantly, turning a full 180 degrees. He treated Chen Chongsheng as an honored guest, someone he could freely curry favor with. Soon after, Qin the priest handed over the key along with everything related to the Orthodox Academy. In other words, Chen Chongsheng was now effectively the headmaster of the academy. Although the exterior was in ruins, the interior of the library pavilion had been preserved almost perfectly. Chen Chongsheng began cleaning the place. Shortly after, people from the Shuji Bureau arrived to help. While cleaning, Qin the priest probed Chen Chongsheng about his aptitude and was somewhat surprised to learn that he was preparing to cultivate. Once everything was tidied up, Qin the priest immediately went to see Mei Lisha, the grand prelate of the Shuji Bureau, to express that he simply could not handle this new headmaster Chen. In stark contrast to Qin the priest's anxious state, Mei Lisha appeared completely unhurried, calmly trimming flowers. Unable to bear it any longer, Qin the priest swallowed a flower whole. Mei Lisha stopped his work and said calmly, "A beautiful flower does not fear blooming late. Since you've already swallowed it, just take your time digesting it." Afterward, Mei Lisha led Qin the priest to stargaze, saying that something unusual would happen that night. At the same time, back at the Orthodox Academy, Chen Chongsheng officially stepped onto the path of cultivation. The cultivation realms progressed as follows: body cleansing, sitting meditation, passage, star gathering, following the saints, divine concealment. The very first step was to ignite one's fate star. The stronger one's spiritual sense, the greater the potential of one's fate star. Chen Chongsheng's 10 years of reading had all been in preparation for this very day. He gathered his spirit and condensed his consciousness, extending his spiritual sense into the star sea to search for his fate star. Upon entering the star sea, Chen Chongsheng realized that it was far more beautiful than anything described in books. Not long after, he found his fate star. Outside, several people were silently observing. Chen Chongsheng's senior brother and master both recognized his fate star, as did Qin the priest and Mei Lisha at the Shuji Bureau. Chen Chongsheng's fate star was extraordinarily powerful and located extremely far away. To ignite it, he had to cross the gate of life and death within the star sea. This was an exceptionally dangerous trial, as the gate would consume spiritual consciousness at a terrifying rate. If one could not endure it, the spiritual sense would shatter, resulting in death. But this was the first step on the path of changing fate. And no matter what, Chen Chongsheng had to cross it, as his spiritual sense was consumed. His vital aura weakened, until he was finally repelled and fell into unconsciousness. Seeing Chen Chongsheng's fate star gradually dim, Qin the priest believed he had failed. His senior brother and master also felt deep sorrow. Within his unconsciousness, Chen Chongsheng reflected on the path he had chosen. Giving up had never been his way of life. He wished to live not as someone else's regret, but to witness the beauty of this world with his own eyes, to live without betraying the promises others had placed upon him. At that moment, his fate star began to blaze once more. Chen Chongqing realized that his fate star was helping him. He shattered the barrier, successfully igniting it at last. Under the night sky, Chen Chongqing's fate star shone like a small sun, drawing the gaze of all who saw it. Qin the priest was overjoyed. Recognizing Chen Chongqing's limitless potential, his senior brother and master were equally delighted, knowing he had finally stepped onto the path of cultivation. Even Xu Yurong, upon witnessing the scene, could not help but praise him as a true genius star. What followed was the fusion of the fate star with his body. Chen Chongqing successfully reached the early stage of the body cleansing realm, immune to all ordinary illnesses. Elsewhere, a young girl living in the neighboring residence happened to witness the entire process of Chen Chongqing igniting his fate star. Sensing the immense strength of his spiritual consciousness, she believed he might possess a way to cure her illness. Immediately, she used the heavenly star shuttle to secretly teleport to Chen Chongqing's location. Seeing this, Uncle Jin set out at once to search for her. The girl believed that sneaking into the neighboring courtyard would go unnoticed. She then attempted to approach the place where Chen Chongqing was in seclusion, only to be ambushed by an assassin. It turned out that this girl named Luoluo was indeed Luoluo, the princess of the demon clan, who had traveled into human territory in search of a cure for her blocked meridians. As for the assassin, he belonged to the devil clan. His objective in killing Luoluo was to provoke a war between the human clan and the demon clan, allowing the devil clan to reap the benefits as a third party. But Luoluo was no ordinary figure. She was a demon clan princess. How could she be so easily assassinated? The moment the devil clansmen closed in, Luoluo drew out the emperor's fang and struck him heavily. However, forcing herself to circulate true essence caused her to cough up blood. Seeing this, the devil clansmen activated a secret movement technique passed down within the devil clan, darting around her at high speed and completely disrupting her sense of direction. Luoluo quickly fell into a disadvantaged position. At that moment, Chen Chongqing instructed her to use the Zhongshan wind and rain sword art. Startled, the devil clansmen hurriedly dodged, but Chen Chongqing calmly pointed out his exact position to Luoluo, allowing her to land a decisive blow. The devil clansman was filled with shock. According to intelligence, Luoluo should not have been able to use true qi at all. How, then, could she perceive his movements? He soon realized that Chen Chongqing was the one guiding her from behind. Curious, he questioned how Chen Chongqing could recognize the devil clan's secret movement art. In truth, Chen Chongqing did not know it was called the skin shadow step. But since it was recorded among the 3000 Dao canon, he had memorized it long ago. Hearing this, the devil clansman praised Chen Chongqing's talent, but revealed that Lord Black Robe had already anticipated such an outcome and prepared a final trump card. This Black Robe was none other than a traitor to the human clan who had defected to the devil clan. Immediately afterward, the devil clansman sacrificed his own body to summon Yan Luo Heavenly Annihilation, a divine weapon of the devil monarch. Luoluo rushed forward to stop it, but was instantly blown away by the backlash. From the 3000 Dao canon, Chen Chongqing knew that this weapon had once ranked third on the 100 weapons list, but had since fallen to 19th after being severely damaged by a powerful expert. He also knew that as long as one could create even a small crack, the weapon could be destroyed completely. Once Yan Luo Heavenly Annihilation shattered, the barrier sealing the area broke open as well. From afar, Shui Xingchuan, the imperial divine general, sensed the devilish aura and hurled his spear. As if guided by an unseen mark, the spear flew straight through the air and pinned the devil clansman firmly to the ground. Unwilling to fall into anyone's hands, the devil clansman attempted to commit suicide, but was stopped by Jin Yulu, the chief steward of Baidi City. Soon after, Shui Xingchuan arrived to escort the prisoner away for interrogation. Jin Yulu gave him 3 days to uncover the truth, warning that even an imperial divine general would not be able to bear the consequences alone if he failed. After Shui Xingchuan rode off on his qilin, Chen Chongqing noticed that Luoluo's attendants had arrived and quietly withdrew. Jin Yulu called him back and offered him a jade plate as thanks. But Chen Chongqing declined. He still needed to return to his reading. Meanwhile, while unconscious, Luoluo recalled her childhood ambition. One day, she would succeed her father and govern Baidi City and the 800 miles of the Red River. Yet that dream was quickly extinguished, for she carried both demon and human bloodlines, limiting her cultivation to at most the early stage of the condensation realm. Thus, her father gave her 3 years. If she failed to break through the condensation realm within that time, she would be forced to marry the next heir. To Luoluo, Chen Chongsheng was the hope that could help her realize her long-held ambition. The moment she awoke, she rushed off to find him. On Chen Chongsheng's side, after a busy night, he had completely forgotten to absorb starlight to cleanse his marrow, and planned to make up for it. But just as he was about to read, Luoluo arrived. She first thanked him for saving her life, then asked to take him as her master, believing that only he could cure her condition. Chen Chongsheng said it was merely luck, but when he attempted to help unblock her meridians, Luoluo was suddenly able to circulate true essence. Even so, Chen Chongsheng still refused to accept her as a disciple, but Luoluo did not give up. That entire day, whether Chen Chongsheng was eating breakfast, tending the garden, or reading, Luoluo stayed by his side. In the evening, the two sat in meditation. As Chen Chongsheng focused on gathering starlight, he discovered that his body felt completely empty. He could sense nothing at all. When he opened his eyes, he saw Luoluo leaning against him, fast asleep, mistaking his hand for an apple. She even took a bite. Chen Chongsheng sighed, gently pushed her away, and told her to leave, saying that he was unworthy to teach her and too busy with cultivation. Curious, Luoluo asked why he was always in such a hurry. Chen Chongsheng replied that he had to participate in the Grand Imperial examination, and he intended to take first place. Luoluo immediately agreed without the slightest doubt. In short, Chen Chongsheng said, "We are not walking the same path. You should go home." The next morning, as usual, Chen Chongsheng ate his porridge, worked in the garden, and immersed himself in books. That afternoon, while soaking in the bath, he felt an inexplicable sense of absence and wondered if he had been too harsh on Luoluo. Suddenly, a loud crash rang out. The wall separating their two residences had been smashed open by Luoluo. She declared cheerfully that now they were on the same path after all. Startled, Chen Chongsheng hurriedly fled to hide. When Luoluo arrived, she found only an empty room. Chen Chongsheng had already gone to Tang 36, a residence, to confide in him. After hearing everything, Tang 36 asked why he refused to accept Luoluo as a disciple. Chen Chongsheng replied that taking a disciple was a grave matter, and that Luoluo's status was far from ordinary. Tang 36 laughed. "You dared to defy heaven and change your fate, entered the Orthodox Academy, and challenged the entire world, yet you're afraid to accept a little girl as a disciple?" After several days of reflection, Chen Chongsheng finally made his decision and returned. Luoluo was still waiting on the swain, but when he failed to appear, she assumed she had angered him and decided to leave. When Chen Chongsheng returned, he looked around and saw no sign of her, until she suddenly appeared behind him, holding a few red bean cakes as farewell gifts. Soon after, Cao Chen, the ecclesiastical affairs officer, and priest Chen arrived to invite the academies to attend the Green Vine banquet. Cao Chen sneered, claiming that the Orthodox Academy was unqualified, since participation required at least 2 members, and who would ever dare join such a dilapidated place? At that moment, Luoluo stepped forward and declared her intention to join the Orthodox Academy. Chen Chongsheng warned her that he might not be able to teach her anything and that she might suffer humiliation and suppression. Luoluo smiled and said she was not afraid, no one would dare insult her. Cao Chen was furious, yet powerless. The initiation ceremony then began. Luoluo presented her offering, knelt and bowed 3 times to her master, signed her name into the registry, and sealed it to complete the process. From that day on, the Orthodox Academy officially gained a new member and met the requirements to attend the Green Vine banquet. Cao Chen seethed with hatred, vowing to turn this desolate academy into a graveyard. Though the Orthodox Academy had only 2 people, they feared neither the Tianhai clan nor the other 5 great academies. In the Grand Imperial examination, they would place the Orthodox Academy at the very top of the rankings. The next morning, Chen Chongsheng and Luoluo arrived at Jiazi Hall of the Tiandao Academy to attend the Ivy Banquet. It was a grand event, gathering students from the 6 greatest academies of the Great Zhou. As soon as Chen Chongsheng and Luoluo stepped inside, several students from Tiandao Academy blocked their way. Upon learning they were from the Orthodox Academy, they immediately mocked Chen Chongsheng, calling him a useless man incapable of cultivation. They also sneered that the Orthodox Academy was not even on the list of institutions invited to the Ivy Banquet. Hearing this, Chen Chongsheng calmly informed them that since ancient times, the Orthodox Academy had been honored by the founding Emperor Taizu as the foremost of the 6 Ivy Academies. One Tiandao student accused him of boasting and rushed forward to attack. but was instantly immobilized by Chen Chongsheng's acupuncture. Seeing this, Zhuang Huayu, the #1 genius of Tiandao Academy, stepped forward and accused Chen Chongsheng of attacking without cause. Chen Chongsheng replied that he had merely helped this senior brother cool down the excessive heat in his body. Zhuang Huayu stopped pressing the matter and instead turned his attention to Luoluo. He questioned why she was accompanying a poor fellow like Chen Chongsheng and suggested that if she wished to attend the Ivy banquet, she should simply join Tiandao Academy. Luoluo answered that as a student of the Orthodox Academy, it was only natural for her to follow her teacher. Noticing Zhuang Huayu repeatedly trying to persuade Luoluo, Chen Chongsheng stepped forward to block him. Zhuang Huayu then declared that Chen Chongsheng was not qualified to bring Luoluo here, and that following him would only ruin her future prospects. At that moment, Mao Chuyu, the principal, arrived. He confirmed that the Orthodox Academy was indeed qualified to attend the Ivy banquet and arranged seats for Chen Chongsheng and Luoluo. Although it was merely a temporary table, Chen Chongsheng paid no attention to such trivial details. Suddenly, Tianhai Yar, the young master of the Tianhai family, burst in. It turned out that Cao Zhaowu, having repeatedly lost face because of Chen Chongsheng, bore a grudge and instigated Tianhai Yar to come to the banquet to punish him. Upon entering, Tianhai Yar declared that Chen Chongsheng's reopening of the Orthodox Academy was a direct slap in the face to the Tianhai family, and he had come to hold him accountable. Seeing that he was targeting Chen Chongsheng, Luoluo immediately stood up and retorted that this was a gathering of the 6 great academies. There was no place here for the Tianhai family's arrogance. Tianhai Yar sneered that the entire divine capital lay under the Tianhai family's control, and the Ivy banquet meant nothing to them. Despite his offensive words, not a single person from the other 5 academies dared to speak out. Chen Chongsheng felt deeply disappointed, believing that the great Zhou dynasty had already rotted to such an extent. At that moment, a young man named Xuanyuan Po suddenly burst into laughter, finding it absurd that the long-standing tradition of the Ivy banquet could be disrupted so easily by an outsider. Enraged, Tianhai Yar attempted to kill him, yet Xuanyuan Po, upright and fearless, stepped forward to accept the challenge. Worried he would get into trouble, Chen Chongsheng tried to stop him, but Xuanyuan Po declared that he was a son of the Red River forests and would never bow to petty villains. Since both he and Tianhai Yar were in the Zhaojing realm, he was confident of victory. Xuanyuan Po stepped onto the stage, and the battle began with momentum clearly favoring Tianhai Yar. Using the Wind Fate Star and harnessing the power of wind, he continuously forced Xuanyuan Po backward. Luoluo grew anxious, but Chen Chongsheng calmly observed that although Tianhai Yar appeared to have the upper hand, his foundation was unstable, and Xuanyuan Po had yet to reveal his full strength. Victory was not yet decided. Soon, Xuanyuan Po activated the beast transformation ability of the demon race. His strength surged dramatically, allowing him to launch a counterattack and beat Tianhai Yar severely. Realizing his opponent was formidable, Tianhai Yar resorted to poison. Chen Chongsheng recognized it as a true essence-triggered poison. If lightly afflicted, one would be crippled; if severely poisoned, one would perish. Even so, the Tiandao Academy principal chose to turn a blind eye. Xuanyuan Po soon fell into a disadvantageous position, on the verge of collapse. Outraged by Tianhai Yar's vicious tactics, Luoluo and Chen Chongsheng intervened. Luoluo blocked Tianhai Yar on the stage, while Chen Chongsheng used acupuncture to detoxify Xuanyuan Po. Tianhai Yar mocked that a country bumpkin like Chen Chongsheng could never neutralize his poison. Yet Luoluo firmly believed in her teacher. If he said he could cure it, then he certainly could. Seeing Luoluo's beauty, Tianhai Yar arrogantly declared he would deal with her first before killing Chen Chongsheng. Furious, Luoluo unleashed the sword technique Chen Chongsheng had taught her, striking him hard across the face, and finally defeated him with a single lightning finger strike. At the same time, Chen Chongsheng successfully purged all poison from Xuanyuan Po. The crowd was stunned. Within only a few moves, Luoluo had defeated Tianhai Yar, ranked 30th on the Azure Cloud ranking. Humiliated before everyone, Tianhai Yar angrily threatened to turn Luoluo into a decorative, moving vase, kill Chen Chongsheng, and deal with Tank 36 as well. Hearing this, Chen Chongsheng stepped forward. Tianhai Yar arrogantly claimed that as the Holy Empress's nephew, no one would dare touch him, but he had provoked the wrong person. To everyone's shock, Chen Chongsheng slapped him again and declared that if anyone harmed his friends or disciples, no matter who they were, he would cripple them. After Tianhai Yar was crippled, Cao Zhaowu ordered Chen Chongsheng and Luoluo arrested, but the Tiandao Academy principal stopped him. Mao Chuyu sternly criticized Cao Jiaowu for instigating Tianhai Yar out of personal grudges and causing chaos at the Ivy banquet. The Holy Empress was already aware of the matter, including the reopening of the Orthodox Academy. As for today's incident, he implied that someone would certainly be held responsible, after all. In the divine capital, people could easily lose their lives at night. Thus, the Ivy banquet ended in a somber atmosphere. Although the Orthodox Academy had secured qualification for the grand examination, no one felt joy. It almost seemed as if they were the ones in the wrong. Having offended the Tianhai family, Xuanyuan Po was abandoned by his former academy. With nowhere to go, he was invited by Chen Chongsheng and Luoluo to join the Orthodox Academy, and he agreed. Back at the academy, the three held a small celebration to welcome the new member. Curious, Xuanyuan Po asked who the principal and teachers were. Luoluo smiled and explained that Chen Chongsheng was the principal, the student, and the teacher. He himself was the Orthodox Academy. Soon after, Tang 36 arrived to celebrate as well, delighted that Chen Chongsheng had crippled Tianhai Yar and taken in a new disciple. He had originally planned to attend the Ivy banquet but had been confined at home the entire night. However, Tang 36 brought troubling news. The next evening, during the Shishi festival, the Lishan sword sect would visit the divine general's mansion to propose marriage. Chen Chongsheng's fiancée, Xu Yurong, was about to be wed. Since ancient times, the Central Plains have been divided among three great races: the human clan, the demon clan, and the beast clan. Among them, the demon clan has always been the strongest and the most brutal. They treat all living beings as food and slaves. It was only after repeated northern campaigns by the founding emperor of the Great Zhou that the demons were driven back to the frozen north. However, to completely eradicate them, the Great Zhou and the southern nations must unite. The south has the sword Saint Su Li, while the Great Zhou has the divine empress of the southern sea. Tianhai Shenghuo. Neither supreme expert is willing to bow to the other. To this day, the south has produced Chu Shanjin, disciple of Su Li, who has awakened the true dragon bloodline. Meanwhile, the Great Zhou has Xu Yurong, bearer of the true phoenix bloodline. The world believes these two are a match made by heaven. If they were to marry, the alliance between north and south would be secured. But if that happened, the fiancé of Chen Chongsheng would be taken by another. That night, Chen Chongsheng thought deeply. He never wished to use the marriage contract to bind Xu Yurong. Nor did he know whether he could truly find a path to change his fate. If unity between north and south could be achieved without bloodshed, it would indeed be a blessing for all. Yet for some reason, he still felt reluctant and decided to go see for himself. At Huaying Palace, people from the Tiandao Academy and even Duong Tam Thap Luke had arrived to witness the excitement. Many high-ranking figures were present as well, including Chen Luwing, a prince of the Chen imperial clan, who had come as a witness to the betrothal. Seeing this, Xu Shiji and his wife stepped forward to receive the guests. If this marriage succeeded, their family's status would rise considerably. Soon after, the Archbishop Mei Lisha arrived. He said he had cast a divination and determined that today was an exceptionally auspicious day. Duong Tam Thap Luke was extremely anxious, as Chen Chongsheng had yet to appear. Envoys from the south then arrived, represented by the Lishan sword sect. Besides Shaosong Palace and the elders of Lishan, there were 4 prodigies of the Divine Kingdom's 7 laws: Liang Banhu, Guang Feibai, Go Hanqi, and finally Qijin. However, Chu Shanjin himself did not come. The 4 young geniuses radiated extraordinary presence, unmatched by most. After brief greetings, they were led inside by Xu Shiji. Duong Tam Thap Luke realized that when Chen Chongsheng first arrived in the divine capital and was targeted by the divine general's mansion, it had been for the greater cause of the North-South alliance. Soon, Chen Chongsheng and Luo Luo arrived, dressed in the uniform of the Orthodox Academy. He looked as composed and handsome as ever. As they were about to enter, an old eunuch stopped them. Princess Pingguo wished to speak with Luo Luo about an important matter. Luo Luo initially refused, but Chen Chongsheng advised that if it was important, she should go. She agreed. Next, Mo Yu appeared and warned Chen Chongsheng that if he were wise, he would not have come. He explained he was only here to observe, but she did not care. In her view, he sought justice for himself, but compared to the greater cause, he was insignificant. He was then pushed into a formation. Mo Yu said that if Xu Yurong had not written a letter guaranteeing his safety, she would have killed him already. Today, he should stay there and cause no more trouble. Princess Pingguo's purpose in summoning Luoluo was to isolate Chen Chongsheng. Furious, Luoluo found herself trapped in a barrier as well. Though she had long admired Chu Shanjin, as a princess she still sought to aid the great Zhou. Hearing this, Luoluo drew out the great emperor's fang. Princess Pingguo thought she meant to attack, but in truth Luoluo intended to threaten her own life. Inside the palace, guests raised their cups to celebrate the betrothal between the great Zhou and the south. Meanwhile, Chen Chongsheng wondered why everyone guarded against him. The great Zhou's betrothal required 2 rites, 3 red goose ceremonies and 3 questions to heaven and earth. If he arrived before completion, it might not be too late. The formation imprisoning him was the Eastern Palace Grand Array, once used by the founding emperor to confine former rulers. During Emperor Taizong's reign, reforms were proposed by one of the 24 sages, Wang Jis. Below the Saint Realm, it could not be broken. Chen Chongsheng remembered that his own path to changing fate was linked to this man. 500 years ago, Archbishop Mei Lisha had been invited by Emperor Taizong to break the formation. Afterward, he planted a plum tree at its core as a clue. Using Mei Lisha's hints, Chen Chongsheng studied the stars to find the life gate. Starting from the plum tree, wood generating fire, he moved to the heart star. Fire generating earth, then to the dipper star. Yet even when 7 points connected, the life gate did not appear. He realized everything reflected on water was illusion. After adjusting his orientation and using the G-star as the pivot, he succeeded. Twin woods manifested, and he was thrust into another space. Above, the Holy Empress sensed he had broken the formation, but since Wang Jis's reform, the life gate had become a death gate. Chen Chongsheng was transported into a cavern filled with gold and treasures. At its center stood a blazing red plum tree. A massive dragon emerged, and above it was the only exit. Outside, the auspicious hour had arrived. The betrothal ceremony began. Shaosong Palace formally proposed marriage on behalf of Chu Shanjin to Xu Yurong of the Divine General's mansion. Gifts included a red goose messenger and countless treasures. The marriage contract was presented and sealed with the imperial stamp. As the 3 questions to heaven and earth commenced, Duong Tam Thap Luke grew increasingly furious. Fearing Chen Chongsheng would not arrive in time. Facing the dragon, Chen Chongsheng sighed at his ill fate, but drew his dagger to fight. When the dragon attacked, it was suppressed by the golden dragon aura within his blade, forged from the whisker of a golden dragon, sovereign among dragons. As the dragon fled, it was restrained by Wang Jis's twin deity dragon locking array. Among the 3,000 Taoist canons was a page teaching dragon speech. Through it, Chen Chongsheng communicated with the dragon, asking for help to escape, promising to return one day to repay the favor. After hesitation, the dragon agreed, and with its force, he soared out of the cavern. Luoluo was rushing toward the ceremony as the first question was asked, no objections. The second question to heaven and earth, no objections. Suddenly, Chen Chongsheng burst from beneath the lake, startling a squirrel and knocking over a flower pot near the Holy Empress. He leapt forward to catch it, apologized for the offense, and hurried away, though he did not know where Wying Palace was. Inside, the final question was asked, did anyone in the world oppose this union? Seeing no objection, the prince prepared to affix the imperial seal. Just as the seal was about to descend, a voice rang out in opposition. The entire hall was stunned. Who dared? And then, from the doorway, Chen Chongsheng stepped inside.